Hi, my name is Josh Bezoni. I'm a nutritionist, best-selling weight loss author, and a consumer advocate. And in today's information-packed video, which won't be online for long, I'm going to expose certain diet foods that can actually cause you to gain belly fat, and I'm also going to reveal my favorite belly-blasting foods that will kill belly fat fast. And when you start swapping the bad foods for the good, you'll start seeing a flatter stomach in just 7 days. Now, I realize that looking in the mirror and seeing a much flatter stomach in just a week is a big promise, but it's 100% true. And to prove it to you, in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you some inspiring success stories from people who had failed at dieting for years, but then they followed my simple advice and completely transformed their bodies and bellies in record time. Now, here's the best part. I'm going to show you how they all got a flat belly fast by simply eating inexpensive foods that you can find at your local grocery store. Believe me, you don't need to buy tasteless diet foods, extreme exercise DVDs, or expensive exercise equipment to experience a flat belly. These are just lies that the billion-dollar weight loss industry is telling us so they can keep ripping us off. In fact, in the interview you're about to watch, I'll reveal some of the biggest weight loss scams out there today, so you can protect yourself and your hard-earned dollar. So what are some foods that kill belly fat fast? Here's a few of my favorite. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is loaded with antioxidants, nearly 8 times the number found in strawberries, and it contains a special ingredient called theobromine that can have a positive effect on fat burning. It also contains a nice dose of oleic acid, which is a monounsaturated fat, and studies have shown that this fat can actually help to burn belly fat. Now, make sure to choose a version of dark chocolate that has a cocoa level that is 78% or higher for best results. My second choice is avocados. These little suckers are loaded with 2 nutrients that are key to killing belly fat. The first is hunger-crushing fiber, and the second is monounsaturated fat, which again, studies have shown to actually help burn belly fat. My third choice is eggs. Now, a lot of people think that eggs are bad for you, but they're actually not. They're nutrient-dense and loaded with belly-burning protein, vitamins and minerals, and omega-3 fatty acids. Plus, they keep you full for long periods of time, which fights cravings. By the way, if you can, choose eggs that come from free-range chickens. You'll get more healthy nutrients. My fourth choice is cinnamon. Researchers have found that cinnamon contains a type of antioxidant that increases insulin sensitivity and helps your body better convert the carbohydrates you eat to energy instead of belly fat. Now, these are just a few of my favorite belly-killing foods, and you can discover even more in a free report I want to give you at the end of this presentation called 32 Foods That Kill Belly Fat Fast. But first, here's a simple question. Do you think you could start eating more foods like these to lose belly fat faster? If you said yes, then you've taken your first step to finally losing that unattractive belly fat forever. And during the rest of this presentation, I'm going to reveal more of my sneaky tricks to a flat stomach. For example, did you know that many food manufacturers are sneaking addictive food additives into thousands of grocery store foods? It's true. They also include these additives in diet foods that are supposed to help you lose weight. I call these artificial chemicals obesity additives, and studies now show that they promote hunger and can cause you and your family to eat uncontrollably. You'll want to stay away from these belly-bulging foods that contain the 7 obesity additives I reveal in this startling interview, which begins right now.
Hi, I'm fitness expert Dan Palomino, and in this controversial show, research scientist, author, and weight loss industry insider Josh Bezoni claims he has discovered the cure to set you free from belly fat. It's his new book, Belly Fat Free. Josh, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dan. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. I know you want to talk about these obesity additives that we tackle in the book. I got to ask you a couple of questions first. You're a weight loss industry insider. You've worked for the top weight loss companies around the world. You're a research scientist, degreed in the study of nutrition. You're on a mission, I understand now, to take 100 tons of belly fat off of America, to essentially slim down the statue of obesity here. That's a big goal. How do you plan on pulling that off?
Well, I plan on pulling that off with the truth. You know, they say the truth will set you free, and the truth will also set you free from belly fat. Because, you know, Dan, the American people have been lied to. They've been lied to for decades by weight loss scam artists and by these big food manufacturers that are putting what I call obesity additives. They're man-made chemicals. They're putting them into our foods, foods that we're feeding our children, that we're eating. They're addicting us to these foods so they make more money and we get more and more overweight. And here's an example of the problems this is causing. Over 350,000 Americans are dying each year from weight-related disease. Childhood obesity is running rampant. Our children are getting sick. They're getting overweight. They're in the future going to have to go through the same struggles that I've gone through being overweight. And someone has to do something about this. So I've made it my mission to remove 100 tons of belly fat from America, and I'm going to expose this conspiracy that's going on.
Let's just touch on something you said. You said you were overweight, is that right?
Yeah, we can pull up the before and after pictures here. And this is embarrassing to talk about because here I am, a fitness expert, a weight loss expert, and I'm teaching people how to lose weight, but I'm overweight. And what happened was, I've always had a problem with food addiction. Even as a young child, I kept eating and eating. I was always obsessed with food. But luckily, I was an athlete in college, so I kept my weight in control. But as I got older, the food addiction became worse and worse. And what I've linked it to is these food additives that they're putting in our foods.
Wow. You've passed this information on to your students, I would imagine.
Yes. As soon as I started losing the weight, I shared this information with my students, my hard case students that couldn't lose weight. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, they've been trying to lose weight with all these crazy weight loss gizmos and gadgets and programs that are almost impossible to follow. And they're finally losing the weight, setting themselves free from belly fat and doing it quickly.
All right, we've got one of those success stories right now. Let's take a look at it.
53 pounds ago, I would not have been at the beach. I was just too embarrassed to go out. I wouldn't be wearing cute clothes. I definitely wouldn't be wearing a swimsuit. I feel very differently now. I just have so much more energy, so much more confidence. I just love my life so much more, and I want to go do things. I want to get out. I want to go places. I want to see the world.
Proud of Gail because she set out to lose weight and she did it. I mean, I've always loved her. I feel the same about her. I'm just very proud of her because she's, done what she set out to do. Yeah, I have to say, I do look a lot. I probably stare a little longer, and but I do find myself looking a little closer, I guess.
I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. The thing that I like best about that clip is the reaction of her boyfriend, Ty. I mean, he's more excited about her transformation than she is.
And that's what happens a lot. People are getting more and more respect and appreciation from their significant others. They're making more money, at their jobs, they're getting promoted, and they're feeling good about themselves. They're looking in the mirror, and they love what's looking back at them. And you can't put a price on that.
Now, you talk about in the book that belly fat is one of the most dangerous types of fat, and I understand that. You can explain some more, but how do I know when I have too much belly fat?
Yeah, well, belly fat is the most dangerous kind of fat. There's an internal belly fat they call the deadly belly fat, and that's around all of our organs. And it's responsible for a lot of disease, such as certain cancers, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease. And you've got to get rid of that internal belly fat. Now, how people can tell if they have too much is men, if they measure around their belly button and their waist is 40 inches or more, they're in a really high-risk category. Women, it's 35 inches around their belly. But you and I both know that people watching at home, they don't have to race and get a tape measure, okay? They can put their hands right now, if they would, on their stomachs. They can feel, the old saying, can you pinch an inch?
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going on. And you can look at a profile of yourself. If your belly sticks out more than anything else, you know you have a problem, and there's time to do something about it.
All right, so did you find out what was making you overweight?
I did. I've been in the weight loss industry my whole life, and I had access to the top doctors, top research scientists, top medical information out there. And there's these studies coming out, and these scientists told me, Josh, you've got to see these studies, because when they're processing and manufacturing our foods, a lot of these food manufacturers are adding man-made chemicals. They don't need to be in there. They put them in there to preserve the life of the food so it can sit on our shelves for years and years and years without breaking down. They don't need to be in there. So I started looking at these studies. Now, I brought some of these studies with me today. What these studies are saying is that these food chemicals, these obesity additives, are making us sick, and they're making us overweight. Now, it's not just me saying it, like I said. Here's some of these studies, okay?
Yeah.
This is studies that have just come out in the last month. Okay. Okay. Now this isn't it. There's more. Okay. These are more studies.
Right.
That are telling us these obesity additives are making us overweight and making us sick and doing it to our children. Here's more. Here's some more. You start to get the picture here?
Yeah.
And
enough.
Here's some more.
No, don't bring any more.
And then I've got another pile down here. Okay.
Right.
So the point is that it's not me saying this. This is the research that's come out lately. It hasn't got out into the media yet, because there's a big conspiracy to cover up this information and these studies. So that's what I'm here to expose today, to get the truth out.
All right, I mean, that's just more information than I want to deal with right now, but give me the basics. I mean, what foods have obesity additives in them?
Well, I'll grab the book right here, but there's a lot of foods that are in people's kitchens. If I were to come through the camera right now and go into someone's kitchen, they wouldn't believe the foods that I find these dangerous and deadly obesity additives in there, okay? So let's start right away, right from the book here. There's salad dressings. Low-fat and fat-free versions still have obesity additives in them. Cereals, even the healthy kind that say they're healthy and people are feeding their children, have obesity additives in them. Chips, crackers, salsa, bread, pancakes, waffles, noodles, condiments like ketchup and jelly even, canned fruits and vegetables, which people think are really healthy for them, have obesity additives in them. Frozen dinners, prepared foods, soft drinks, fruit juices, teas, junk food, fast foods.
All right, I get the point. It's everything we eat.
It is everything we eat, but there are versions of these foods that don't have the obesity additives in them, and they're at your grocery store. So right here in the book, I show people what foods have, what brands have the obesity additives in them, and what brands don't. So when you're going down the shopping aisle with your cart, you can simply say, I know that version has obesity additives. I'm going to choose this version. You grab it off the shelf, and you're helping your family be more healthy, and you'll lose weight.
Now, Josh, I know you brought some success stories, and let's take a look at those right now.
I held my head up high before and looked people in the eye, but now it's always with a smile. And I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy. I feel good in my own skin, and I want to help others feel that way.
You know, since I've lost the weight, I definitely am a lot more proud, and I notice instead of going, oh, I wish I looked like that girl, I say, man, she looks good, and I'm feeling good about myself, and so I don't have to play the comparison game.
When I wake up in the morning, it makes me feel as though I'm still the luckiest guy on the face of the planet. There's really no other person who I would rather spend the rest of my life with.
Now, you talk in the book that there's really 3 specific ways in which obesity additives pack on the belly fat. How is that?
Well, the first way is it shuts down a signal from your stomach to your brain that tells you you're full. So naturally, when you eat a meal, your stomach stretches, okay? It sends a signal to your brain that says, hey, I'm full, stop eating. Well, what happens is it interferes with that. Your brain never gets the signal, so it keeps eating, you keep eating, you keep eating, and you can never get full. I had this problem with ice cream. I used to eat ice cream that had obesity additives in it. I'd eat a whole bowl, right? I should be full. I'm not. I go back and get another bowl. I'm not full after that. I go back to the freezer and I stand there eating ice cream. You know, people are doing this with bags of chips. They're doing it with bread. They're doing it with cereals. They're doing it with all these foods, and they don't know why. It's not their fault. It's these obesity additives in their foods that's making them overweight.
Okay, how about the second way?
The second way is these obesity additives, some of them, addict your brain. I showed the research studies earlier, and one of these studies, a recent one that came out, said one of these obesity additives that I talk about in the book addicts your brain just like the street drug cocaine. Okay? So it changes your brain chemicals so that you constantly want more and more and more. You can't fill that void. So it works with neurotransmitters in your brain. So it addicts you to food.
All right, so it blocks our signals so we don't feel full. It addicts us to keep eating it over and over again. What's the third way?
The third way is it changes how your body uses calories. Usually when you eat, calories, the carbohydrates, are stored in muscle to give you energy. So you want to run around and be active and play with your children and do all these things, chase your dreams. Well, that's not happening now because these obesity additives cause you to gain fat in all the trouble areas instead of putting those calories as energy in your muscles. So you start to get fat in all these trouble spots, like under your chin, right? Yeah. Under your arms,
right.
On your belly,
yeah.
On your hips, on your thighs, for women especially. You start to gain more body fat in trouble areas, even though you're not eating more calories.
Back to the obesity additives just a second, because now you've identified a disorder associated with obesity additives. Is that right?
I call it an obesity additive disorder, and here's how people at home can tell if they might have this disorder, okay? And I'm gonna read this right from the book, right from Belly Fat Free here. So when you consume certain foods or beverages, do you find it almost impossible to stop even though you've had enough? A lot of people do. Have you gained a lot of body fat in unwanted places, all your trouble spots, even though you're not eating more calories? Okay. Do you obsessively think about food and what you're going to eat next? Over and over again. I know I had this problem. You've probably had this problem before. Do you give up on most diets after only a few days or weeks because the cravings just get too strong? Okay, and the final one, do you ever experience withdrawal symptoms? Like if you don't eat your favorite foods, you start to get maybe shaky hands, maybe your head hurts a little bit, you feel lethargic, you feel tired, you know. All those are signals that you have this obesity additive disorder and that you're addicted. And that's why you keep eating, and you're gaining this belly fat and fat all over your whole body.
So Josh, if I understand this correctly, if I just reduce the obesity additives, then my belly bulge goes away?
That's all you need to do is reduce your obesity additives. That's what my students are doing, and they're losing weight quickly just by changing the foods. You know, they don't have to count calories. They don't have to count fat grams. They don't have to measure their food. None of these things. That's all they do.
All right, Josh. Let me ask you this. Companies know about the obesity additives. I mean, they're doing this purposefully?
It's a lot like the tobacco industry. Remember back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? All these studies came out showing that tobacco, nicotine was really harmful. People were getting lung diseases, certain types of cancers. But the tobacco industry managed to cover up all the science, just like the science I showed earlier. They managed to cover all that up and say that it wasn't valid and there wasn't enough proof. And people were getting sick because of that. The same thing is happening today. All the research is coming out. It's not in the national media yet, and they're covering it up. People don't know about the new research, and we need to get it out there right away to save people's lives, really.
And so reducing obesity additives, I mean, is that what helped you lose the weight?
I reduced these obesity additives. I simply chose brands of food that didn't have them in there, which I write about right in the book, and I lost 32 pounds like that. And I'm not the only one. I shared this information with my hard case students. Marie Seibel, for example, she'd been trying to lose weight for 40 years, Dan. 40 years she couldn't lose weight. She tried all these different ways. She finally got belly fat free, lost the weight. Rita Pilger, she was born with congenital hip defect. She went through her life with 8 surgeries, being in body casts. She can't exercise a lot. She found belly fat free, lost the weight just like that. I brought clips today to show the people watching at home how easy and simple it is to lose weight with belly fat free.
All right, let's look at the clips from Marie and Rita right now.
I had lost 30 pounds at the end of the 12 weeks on the challenge, and I've taken off a few more since, 2 or 3 more pounds. And I tried everything on the market, whatever was there. And even sometimes I would go to my doctor and say, I've got to lose this weight, give me something. And so they prescribe a diet pill, and all it would do is make me real jittery. I'd lose the weight, and then I'd gain more back when I got off of it. So, but this time, look at me. You know, it's just amazing. I can't believe it.
It's been 6 years since I've been on a beach, and this is the most exhilarating feeling to be standing here with the breeze blowing through my hair and the sunshine on me and my toes digging into the sand and the sound of the water and the waves and the color of the ocean. It is magnificent. I just love being here.
The results have just astounded me. I have lost 64 pounds and over 40 inches of fat.
I mean, Josh, that's just amazing. I mean, she finally lost the weight after failing for decades. I mean, tell me about the difference, and does it work for guys as well?
It does work for guys. Tom Potts goes an example. He's in his 50s, okay? He lost over 65 pounds with us with the Belly Fat Free program. And Tom used to be a singer in a rock and roll band. He used to go around and sing. He loved it. It was his passion in life. Yeah. But he quit doing that because he became overweight, grossly overweight, and he didn't want to go up there and sing anymore, which is a tragedy. He lost the weight with us, he lost it quickly, and now he's singing again. Dan, he's singing.
All right, Josh, so say I'm going to get on a plan to eliminate these obesity additives out of my diet, but I have a feeling this is going to start costing me more money. Is that right?
It's not going to cost you more money. It's going to save money because when you get these obesity additives out of your foods, your grocery bill will shrink because your family naturally gets full and satisfied faster.
So what you're telling me is the book pays for itself in the first week?
Exactly.
Josh, what do you think about these other weight loss products? I mean, there's a million things out there, gadgets, pills, you know.
They don't address the real problem. And the real problem is that their brain's addicted to these foods, okay? That's the real problem. So these other things aren't gonna work. Nothing else that doesn't address that isn't gonna work. Let's look at this, okay? I bought this off the internet. It's a belt that wraps around your belly, and it's supposed to electrify your belly, right?
Really?
And you're supposed to lose weight overnight on this thing.
Seems a little far-fetched.
Yeah, okay, to say the least, okay? Whatever, we'll get rid of this. This book, Belly Fat Free, is based on the latest research, which I pulled out here earlier in the show, a stack of studies. But it's in a very easy to understand format. People have to be able to do something that's easy and works quickly, or they won't stick to it.
Now, Josh, I know you brought some success stories, and let's take a look at those right now.
I lost over 110 pounds and a foot off my waist. These are the pants that I used to wear. You can believe that. My health has improved dramatically. I am just thrilled to be able to ride my Harley for over 12,000 miles this year. It used to be painful to go on rides when I was heavy because of all the added pounding and pounding. Now I don't have to carry all that around anymore. Plus I get better gas mileage. Once the weight came off, you couldn't wait to get out there now because you wanted people to see that you were different.
I feel so fantastic. No, a year ago, I do not go to a beach. A year ago, I don't even bother to pack a swimsuit. I would just look at the beach, maybe, but I wouldn't go, no. I have lost 52 plus pounds. It's awesome. It's a lot easier to negotiate the beach without the extra baggage.
She's more outgoing, she's got a lot more energy. She wants to do things now that previously she would shy away from.
All right, well, let me be a critic because someone might say, oh, it's just water weight. That's really not belly fat.
And my response is, it is water weight in the beginning because these obesity additives cause inflammation in the body. They cause bloating. A lot of people, especially women, talk about bloating, okay? They feel bloated. They feel, they feel like they're carrying a lot of water weight all the time. Well, these obesity additives go in there and they cause that. So when you remove them, you lose a lot of water weight in the beginning, but when you reduce that inflammation, your body can work how it's naturally supposed to work, and you'll start burning fat optimally.
So Josh, this seems like it's the simplest program in the world. All I have to do is take these obesity additive foods out of my diet plan and the belly bulge goes away?
That's right, Dan. I have students that are just reducing these obesity additives and losing weight like that. That's all they do. Now, if people want to get even faster results, they can do a little bit more. And I have tips in the book that show you how to do just a little bit more. Now, if you have a date coming up, let's say, right, or maybe you have a class reunion coming up, or you have a wedding coming up, and you want to lose weight quickly, like in a week or so, I have tips to help you with that. I want to read